So the intro's over, so welcome to the video. Now guys, I don't believe it's just the weather that can control or harness our emotions. I also believe the ground that we walk also is a decisive manner in regard to our temperament, our personalities, our mood, our emotions. So I believe we are crystal conduits. I've talked about us being wands in the past. Whatever energy is coming in, we focus out. So think about it. If it's not just the weather that is controlling our temperament, but also the ground that we walk on is controlling that too, it would make sense, wouldn't it, if our personalities could be changed. So we are crystal.
You are liquid crystals, every one of you. You are liquid crystals, every one of you.
Right guys, so you just saw me talking about us being crystal conduits, or I like to say doors. I also talk about the weather being able to manipulate us and control us. And I've also talked about, I believe it's not just the weather, but also the ground and things in the ground. And there's some Bible verses that scream to me what I'm trying to get in this video, and I just want to share them with you to see what you think. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in. Revelation 3:20. Lift up your heads, you gates, be lifted up. Basically, gates is January. So he's saying, lift up your head, you Janus. Be lifted up, you ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Psalm 24:7-8. And these things to me, together with this other verse, what he opens, no one can shut. And what he shuts, no one can open. And these things remind me of, do you remember, is it Alibaba and the 40 Thieves and Open Sesame? So Open Sesame, I believe, some in Hebrew says it could be meaning password. But from the French version, Antoine or Anton Galland, the French installment, basically the French translation is of 1001 Nights. What was that number again? 1001. Take the zeros, you're left with, oh yes, an 11. And I believe it means open yourself. So this is talking about if you open yourself, these frequencies will come in. Is this why we have a toroidal field? So we can control this field around us to let whatever in. But that is being manipulated and sometimes controlled. So I want to carry on with this train of thought because I find it intriguing, because I'm talking about emotions and things like evil and good having a frequency. I've always talked about that. Now, if you think of evil, you would automatically think of, say, the devil or Satan. And as you know, Satan means adversary. So if you look up the origins in Latin of adversary, you can see it means opposed, like a force or an opponent. So if you are an opponent of another force, you would be labelled an adversary, thus Satan. This is intriguing because if you think about it, we have ley lines, and I'm going to get into that also. But think about it, if we stand still, we may be opening ourselves. Now, is this why in ancient times people were nomadic? Because they moved with the weather. They moved from out of location so they would not get walled in, locked in with ancient forces that's beneath the ground. So for hundreds of thousands of years, people were nomadic. They sometimes stayed in a place for mere hours before moving on. Eventually, most people gave up the nomadic lifestyle. Scientists are still learning about ancient nomads and why people stopped being nomadic. Did we get forced to move in and walled around inner walled cities, star forts and things like this? Are humans supposed to move? Movement is important for both physical and mental health, thriving in life, and until recently even survival. Another point says, are humans meant to stay in one place? Humans are nomadic, not meant to stay in one location. Humans instinctively search for more. It's why we research, because we're always looking to move and look at other things. So this is what I'm trying to get at. Now, as society, we are pending. We're basically like things in a zoo. We're caged in. And we're caged in with all these emotions. And if you're in certain locations, the weather is rainy, snowy, and that it happens your mood. It's like that seasonal disorder called SAD. So you can see me pointing out what I'm trying to get in this video. But when we look at evil, and I'm talking about how it can influence you, have a look at this, because this always blew my mind when I first did it many years ago. So the Hebrew word for the letter D is delet or deleth. Means door, and also you can see means poor, weak, helpless one. But the sound is for a D, for deleth, means door. Right, so if I'm talking about frequencies, and evil could be a frequency, if the devil is at your door, is at your shoulder, and it's trying to get in to influence you to become evil, think about it. Evil at your door, you are a door, you are a gate, you are a deleth. Put D on evil. What do you get? You get devil. So when evil is at your door, does that then, if it gets in, does that then become a devil? An adversary, an opponent, an opposite? That just blew me away many years ago when I was thinking on those lines. So if you think about it, I've been talking about the weather manipulation, controlling us. That's why we were nomadic. And we have ley lines, and I'm going to show you an old clip in a minute about ley lines and how they're not called ley lines, they're leylines. It will blow your mind, but just look at ley lines. Do they not look like a sigil? And this is a sigil that's carved in a building or a church at the side. Do they not resemble a sigil? Now, you know sigils are to ward off evil, but at their essence they are basically magical. They symbolize magic. But sometimes sigils are also used to keep things in. Basically, like a prison cell, it's keeping things away, or it's keeping things in, like a guard, like a prison. So is this one? In the old video I was talking about how ley lines are also known as devil lines. Evil at your door becomes the devil, and they're called devil lines. Crazy, isn't it? And then when you look at topography and maps, does it not remind you of just like a frequency, up and down, moving up and down, or even a fingerprint? So when we are at these locations, ley lines, I've called them ley lines from etymology, and that clip's coming up in a sec. But what do we have now at certain locations around this realm? We have 5G towers now. Are these manipulating a frequency that's in the ground? Are they amplifying it, or are they creating little holes so things can get in? And I was just doing this section, and I thought, how many towns and cities across the UK have access to 5G through a certain network? And it just made me laugh. At least at the latest count, 128. 8 add 2 add 1 is, yes, you got it, an 11. It seems to be following me and following us around that specific number. But hey, it's just a coincidence. And I'm going to play that old video now, and in that I even break down the etymology again. But then thus in that video I was talking about spells and devils, and are they the fallen and different things. But if you just put what I'm trying to get at in this video so far about could the ley lines actually be trapping an energy in, and we're in this locations and we're not nomadic, so we're staying in them for far too long, could these emotions, these feelings, these frequencies be influencing our characters, our behaviours and our moods? So here's that old clip now, hopefully you'll enjoy it. So guys, you know I love giving you some wows. Some people hate it, I don't know why, but anyway, so it got me thinking about ley lines, and I've talked about this in the, you know, the actual electric Elohim, the electric lords. Could they be lying about it? Could these ley lines be actual prison, the grid to keep the spirit, the energy in and holding it, basically grounded? So let's have a look at the etymology of a few words. So this is just a generic map with some of the ley lines of England put on it. And I know a lot of people do some videos on ley lines, but I like to look at things a little bit differently. So Lee, or ley, as you can see at the bottom, is Lee. And that got me thinking, Lilu, the fifth element, a supreme being. And they've named it Lilu. So back onto this. So a supposed straight line connecting three or more prehistoric or ancient sites, sometimes regarded as the line of a former track and associated by some with lines of energy and other paranormal phenomena. Origin ley, 1920s. So that got me thinking. I swear I remember talking about it in a very, very old video, that ley lines actually is related to a lie, and lo and behold, I just put ley in, and you know, the etymology, and as you can see, ridge left at the edge of a ploughed field, ley, and then English, obviously that language again, English that I've talked about, Old English ledge, fallow, recorded in Lachog, ridge left at the edge of the ploughed field, related to ley, and I'll highlight it and I'll zoom in and magnify, lie. A lie line. And as you know, lie means telling something false or portraying something as false. It also means bed, obviously lying. So that's an intriguing connection, obviously, because I've talked about how we die every night and we lie down. Are we contributing to this ley line when we sleep? Who knows? Again, so that is lie lines. Why are they lying? What is the lie? So in the process of making this new video and editing it and showing you about ley lines, I thought, what would lie be backwards, the etymology? And as you can see, Isle is a name for a brave warrior. The surname Isle originally derived from the German word Egil, which means weapon, and hard, which means hard. A broad and miscellaneous class of names, nicknames, surnames refer to the characteristic for the first person who used the name. So these lie lines are also weapon lines, hard lines. So it's going into what I'm talking about these nomadic tribes knowing not to stay in one place at a time because the energy is hard. It's a weapon. It's like being turned into a berserker. And also, if these locations are areas of where the fallen fell and were chained to the ground, as I've showed in my Electric Lord video and other videos on that. So you got like a double whammy. The energy that these fallen are producing is why we should keep moving. So that got me thinking. We're talking about ley lines, energy harvesting, energy grid. But there's also another type of an electric phenomenon that is mentioned when you research, and here's the map of it. Now some will say there's 12, some will say there's 10, but it's what is known as the vile vortices. Now they are locations around the world that display a phenomenon that science so-called cannot put into words, and weird as I say, shit happens. Now in a very old post on social media many years ago, some of these near enough all of those locations, there is what I call like harp locations, or an energy weapon or frequency at all of these locations that I found, and I posted them on social media. Some of the people that's followed me for a long time will know I did this post. So vile vortices. So what does vile vortices actually are? So as I was saying, paranormal regions sometimes are also known as vile vortices or devil's graveyards, bordered by sides of a triangle whose points are fixed at these three places. Remember, the divinity is shown by the triangle. Also, in that video that I've not long done, the triangle was with the VIR for Ohm's law. So what does vile mean? Why call it vile vortices? An objective, vile, comparative adjective. So it's extremely unpleasant. He has a vile temper. Similar to foul, nasty, unpleasant, bad, disagreeable, horrid, horrible. Morally bad, wicked. As vile as rogue as ever lived. Archaic or little worth of value. All the feasts that thou hast shared erewhile to mine shall be but vile. From Latin, vilis, of low value. Low value. And these are energy locations, and we've talked about the fallen being grounded to this realm, and they've known that these locations, obviously, that you can see on the map around this realm, weird shit happens. But look at the word vile. It has an EL on the end. So I thought, you know what? Could we not say vile? V-I-E-L. Vile. Vile. What would that mean? Well, vile, if we split it into two, vi in Latin is the ablative of vis or force. This makes a handy prefix also mean with violence, and you shouldn't run from that meaning. Force. Vi is meaning force. Vile, vile, el, something divine, Elohim, the fallen, blah blah blah, that I've talked about. Basically also the word for a god. Vile means force of God. And on this realm, at 10 or 12 locations, they're known as the vile vortices. Energy phenomenon. Just wow, just struck it out of the park again, and I get really excited. But remember, one, as I just showed you, paranormal region known as vile vortices or devil's graveyards. If only someone did another form of devil. What would DEV mean? Wow, borrowed from Sanskrit, God the celestial one, devil the celestial one. But look, if you merge them, like I did with that Devia, look at the word vile, remember? VI. Viz, but also VI. So dev, DEVI, devil, force of the celestial one. Just wow, I'm getting the goosebumps, the tingling. My last video I talked about how these energy lines could be ley lines, and they're there to trap and keep the fallen there. They are grounded, and now I've just shown you devil could be the force of God, the celestial one, the vile vortices. Why call it vile? And all that goes with that. Guys, just wow. I'm going to leave that with you. What can I say to that? So I've talked about frequencies being manipulated and controlled, but what could that frequency be? I've talked about obviously the energy in the ley lines, the weather systems, but here's an explanation. What could that frequency be for an old video?
So really, what is the hue? Where does it come from? Why does it work? Well, the hue actually is based on quantum physics. They say that the hue was the ancient word that created everything that exists today. Everything on this planet, everything in the universe. Quantum says that everything is made up of atoms, all right? And everything is frequency and vibration. In other words, simply light and sound. Everything is made up of packets of light at a quantum level. When we look at a couch, we look at a TV, we look at a person, a lamp, a dog, a cat, they are all really packets of light and sound at a quantum level. The hue, when we hue, we actually resonate that original sound, and it changes us at a molecular level. It begins to rearrange our atoms so we are more in resonance with the initial vibration of the universe. That's why it works quickly, it works efficiently, and it works always, every single time. Hue is simply an ancient vibration that retunes us like a piano from the inside out. And it starts to deliver clarity and guidance in every aspect of our life. So, when we hue, we resonate in resonance with that original sound that created the universe. It's a quantum physics effect. It just goes hue. And the hue really is quantum physics. And the proof of the hue is that it's not only a sound that we make, hue, but it can be heard in everything. Everything. If you listen to the background noise of a train, listen to a bus, listen to a horn, listen to someone talking, listen to any sound that you can think of on this planet, you will hear the hue contained within that sound. They say that it's the sound within all sounds.
So while I've been talking about hue and saying could that be the frequency of the human that they are manipulating, and the weather manipulating, and the ground, because obviously we're crystal, and I want to show you a few things on hue and see if you notice what could connect these together, and it should blow you away. These are all in my old videos. If you want to catch them out, they're on the Black Sheep Researcher on Odyssey. They're like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. So in the beginning, and remember beginning in Greek is arche, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John, a derivative of Janus, and 1, 1, 11, 11, the doorway, the posts, symbolic of the doorway, and I've talked about doors in this video. Now here's Hue. Hue was an Egyptian god. In ancient Egypt, Hue was a deification of the first word, the word of creation. Are they not both the same? The sound made by Atum, the creator, as he created Hue. Now, Hue, for all you peeps out there who love gematria, is 29. 9 add 2 is, oh yes, 11. So you're seeing a connection. So some of the first verses that it talks about hue, and I'll show you what I mean now. See if you can notice a connection. As for the likeliness of their faces, they four had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side, and they had the face of an ox on the left side, and they also have the face of an eagle. Talking about the living creatures round God's throne also. Is it from Ezekiel? Look at the number. Oh yes, Ezekiel 1:10. Take away the 0, you get another 11. Just like Hue. And the 4 living creatures also appear in Revelation 4:7. 4 add 7 is, yes, you got it, 11. So you can see the 4 creatures. The first living creature, Leo the lion, representation of the stars of constellation. The second, the living creature, Taurus the bull. The third is the living creature, Aquarius the water bearer, but it also symbolises a man, doesn't it, holding the water bearer. And the fourth, the living creature, Scorpio, but, and here's the but, it's also Aquilia. It is an eagle, because it's just above. So they're the 4 living faces of God, or Jesus Christ, whatever you want to say it. So let's just go in it a little bit more better image for you to picture and visualize. So you have the eagle, you have the lion, you have the man, and you have the ox or the bull. Now, the celestial sphinx in creation in Egypt is also known as, yes, you got it, Hue, H-U, H-U. And have a guess. what four creatures that symbolises? Taurus the bull, Aquarius the man, the water bearer, the eagle, and basically the ancient form of a ficus. That's why I've always talked about in the past a ficus, that is like a man holding a serpent type of thing, used to be an eagle, Aquila. And at the top, Leo the lion, and obviously they're the origin of the cherubim symbol. But the Sphinx in Egypt is supposed to be the face of Hugh. What were the four animals of God or Jesus Christ again? An eagle, a lion, a man, and an ox or a bull. The same that represents Hugh. Now, do you believe in coincidences? So both, from the beginning, remember the word of God. The word of God is Hugh. In another religion and faith, the first breath, the utterance. Crazy. Now, remember how some of the creation stories talk? I've just talked about Hugh and the word, both being the breath, the first utterance. Remember this Bible verse about creation? And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Did man then become Hugh man? God men from Hugh, from the breath, the first utterance, the frequency. That's just blown my mind. Something I want to talk about, we've talked about us being human, and I believe from my research a long time ago, Hugh can be changed with something else. Now before I play that old clip, have a guess what it is, and I'll give you a few seconds. Come on guys, remember Hugh can be changed for, and here we go. Here's a quote: the people have the power, all we have to do is awaken the power in the people. John Lennon. And it's so true. Remember, human, Hugh, can be changed for he. So He-Man, wait, wasn't he powerful? Could he not change? But what's the odds of this, guys? Remember the four creatures of the celestial sphinx. Leo the lion, we have the battle cat, but there is a battle lion in the program. So we have the lion. Remember Ficus, an eagle. The sorceress, what's she wearing? Oh yeah, an eagle. What's the odds of that? But Paul changes Ficus to the serpent bearer. Wait, there was a king hiss and the snake men in the program. So Aquarius, the water bearer. Well, He-Man could be the man, but obviously I talked about the water and the water worship. Well, let's have another merman. Oh, that's too much of a coincidence, that, guys. Have we got any characters with bulls or horns? Well, there's a character called Minox. Will that do? Or will He-Man's ally work? Koldar. And as you can quite see, it is the bull. Now guys, you have to remember what I've just said. Human is also He-Man, and we have the power. So don't forget that, guys. So I want to finish this little section, and I want you to look at He-Man, Human chest logo. Obviously it resembles the Iron Cross and different things, but could it not represent the four faces of Christ, God, or the four faces of the celestial sphinx, Human? Remember, look at it, the four cross. Does it not? Because remember this image that I just showed you a few minutes ago? That represents the cross. It's on his chest. Human, He-Man. We have the power. So this could be something, or this could be nothing. I openly admit that. But it intrigues me, so I have to share it. So I've just been talked about, obviously, the first breath, the first word, and the hue, and human, and He-Man. Now, people don't believe in coincidences, and I just want to share another coincidence, tongue-in-cheek. So, guys, who was He-Man's name? You know, his alter ego. By day he was, yes, you got it, Adam. Adam is the name given in Genesis to the first human. That's what they say. Adam is the first human being aware of God and features as such in various belief systems. Obviously, the name Adam finds its origin in the Hebrew, derived from the word Adama, meaning earth or soil. According to biblical accounts, Adam was the first man created by God and formed from the dust of the earth. As such, the name Adam carries a strong association with humankind's connection to earth and its origins. And there you go, showing you at the bottom, He-Man, Prince Adam. He-Man is the most powerful man in the universe. He is the Hugh man. And if you remember from your video, when it talks about ley lines being dragon lines and being evil, and the fallen were chained to the earth, the soil, and I'm seeing the connection. I might play that clip, I might not, so if it breaks up, I've put the clip in. Dragon lines. So ley lines, another word that's used around the world for ley lines, is dragon lines. Now when I heard this, I remembered a verse that I've used in other videos. It blew me away, because it's just telling you what I'm telling you in this video about ley lines. We got it all wrong. Now read this out and tell me I'm not right to think how I'm thinking. So this is Revelation 20. And I saw an angel coming down out of heaven, having the key to the abyss. Remember, we're in the cave. Remember, etymology tells you that. And holding in his hand a great chain. Those are the ley lines. He seized the dragon, that ancient serpent who is the devil or Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. Right there, it's telling you why call them dragon lines all around the world. They bound the dragon to the earth. It's telling you. I'm just blown away when you read things like this, because I'm just theorising, but it makes sense. Again, it doesn't mean it's right. But how many people are telling you about this, this and this, and not giving you another opinion to think on? And that's what pushes me forward. I don't want to accept what major channels and major research is saying. I just want to have another option, and then I can pick. So it's telling you ley lines were called dragon lines. And in the Bible it says that the abyss, and holding in his hand a great chain, he seized the dragon, the ancient serpent who is the devil, and bound him for 1,000 years. Those are the dragon lines. And you think, that's just a verse, Paul. Fair enough, I'll show you another one. Tell me what this means. The Lord said to Satan, where have you come from? Satan answered the Lord, from roaming through the earth and going back and forth in it. Again, wow. So I'm right. Well, the theory's good anyway. It's telling you the dragon is bound to the earth, and those are the ley lines. It's telling you from roaming through the earth and coming back and forth in it. So it's telling you he's roaming in the earth and going through it with the ley lines, the energy lines. It's the energy from the fallen. Now, in an old video, I used a clip from the film The Pope's Exorcist, and I want to include this now because it says something that will blow your mind. So just listen closely.
Per noi invece è una manifesta realtà. 200 angeli caduti, espulsi dal paradiso, trascinati sottoterra. Non è una favola.
So you just saw that little clip from The Pope's Exorcist, and it talks about 200 fallen angels expelled from heaven, driven beneath the soil where God is not welcomed. So God is not welcomed in the earth and the dirt and the soil. And I just showed you the Bible verses. How crazy. I'm lost for words. It means a lot to me that you're giving me time just to listen to what I have shown today, but it's crazy. I already showed you that it talks about the Satan, how it roams through the earth, going back and forth in it. That is bloody ley lines. And then the other verse from Revelation, it's crazy when it talks about how it's been seized by and put in a great chain, and it talks about how they seized the dragon. Well, it's funny that they're called dragon lines and they're going back and forth through the earth. And this is what I'm talking about. The ley lines etymologically are lie lines. So whether it's been chained down, meaning leaves lying, or the lying about its purpose. So I might or might not paint the clip. I know I'm terrible, aren't I? But I want to carry on this little bit. So traditionally, the origin has been ascribed to the sin of first man. So you know, if you do fall to your desires, then you commit a sin. So I'm tying it all together, evil and all that stuff, because if the energy can make us and change us to these locations and the weather, and that's why we were basically nomadic. Remember, the first sin was supposedly Adam and Eve, who disobeyed God in eating the forbidden fruit of knowledge of good and evil. So it was knowledge of good and evil, and in consequence transmitted his sin and guilt by heredity to his descendants, the doctrine. So he transmitted his sin. Sounds like a frequency, does it not? So he transmitted it. He was a conduit, and all his other descendants now are tied with that frequency of sin and guilt. What am I talking about? The origin of the words transmit and transmission and the derivatives can be traced to the Latin transmittere, in turn formed by prefixing the preposition trans, across or beyond, to the verb mittere or mittere, to let go or to send. So we're sending and we're pushing out a frequency of sin. So if we can do that, can it not be the same for our surroundings, the weather, and us being a conduit? We absorb and project and, as this says, transmit sin. Makes you think, doesn't it? And just for, as he say, for a laugh, shit and giggles, whatever you want to call it, I thought, you know what, Adam, what is his name backwards? Because obviously it's nearly made, and you know, Adam, if you go by that, was the first breath, the first word. Adam is Mada. Now, Mada in Sanskrit is a term used in both Hindu theology and mythology. It is one of the Arishavagas, or is it Arishadvaragas? It refers to one of the 6 enemies of the mind, or a vice, according to the Hindu scriptures. It is the Hindu equivalent of pride from the 7 deadly sins from the Christian theology. So coincidentally, Adam, the first sin, his name in reverse, is a 7 deadly sin. It's like it's made up. How can it possibly be reverse? Means the same thing from a different culture. That is crazy. And I want to go a little bit, because remember, the first sin was the eating the fruit of knowledge of good and evil, Mada. And if you go to Hebrew, and I've put it on the screen, the lexicon, you can see on the screen, outline of biblical usage. Mada means knowledge, thought, mind, thought, place, or knowledge. And I think it's terrible. Oh no, I swear I saw somewhere that it was obviously tied to the soul as well. So that's why I love these things. I'm just looking at the words, and Adam, the person who did the first sin with Eve, and you have a look, and it's all about knowledge, sin, even in reverse. Oh wow. So this is why I just love doing it. I'm talking about the weather systems. I'm talking about the ley lines, the lie lines. They've lied about something. This is why we moved. I keep reiterating that, because if we was nomadic, we're not spending enough time in those locations, and people are sensitive to EMF, and EMF can change moods. So why can't this what I'm saying? That's just how basic I put it. So now I'm going to do a bit more spell etymology for you guys and try and put everything together so it makes more sense. So my friends, I don't know if I'm looking into this too deep, or I'm seeing things, or you know, you want to make something so wow that you just overlook things or make things more important than they are. So I want to leave this open to you guys and say, this is just an opinion. What do you think? Do you think there's something to what I'm going to say? So we've talked about He-Man, human, frequencies, weather manipulation, all that good stuff. Well, it's not good stuff, but you know what I mean. It's good stuff in intriguing. And Adam, the earth. Adam was supposedly the first sin. Now, if you look at sin a bit different, could it be sin waves? Because we've talked about how it's evil and frequencies. Evil is represented by the serpent in the Garden of Eden. So you can see the serpent on the screen. The serpent, to me, looks strangely identical to a sine wave. Adam was the first to sin, sine. Is there any connection to that? Because I want to put some things on the screen and it may help. So the serpent was a symbol of evil power, like a frequency, and chaos from the underworld. We've talked about the serpent connecting with the ground and the earth, and as well as a symbol of fertility, life, healing and rebirth. Nahas, Hebrew for snake. It's also associated with divination, including the verb for meaning to practice divination or fortune telling. Thus the Hebrew word Nahash, which is what I just mentioned, can have multiple meanings. It can refer to a snake and to an impressive or angelic shining being who perhaps has some snake-like features. Also, some people say, if you had a bang, that would just put my elbow down. So while many still associate it with evil and temptation, modern interpretations emphasize its role as a symbol of the complexity of human nature. Some contemporary scholars view the serpent as embodying the dual nature of knowledge itself, something that can be both enlightening and dangerous. So sine waves, sin, the serpent, all one. It was the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. We've just talked about knowledge and that. So we've talked about all the things that the serpent can be. And could it be a sine wave? A sine wave is the basic building block of all physical phenomena, including the life cycle of everything from the tiny living things to the universe. So sine wave, we talked about the serpent being fertility also. But can you see my point? If this sine wave is so important, could that be what in refer to Adam? He was the first one to sin or sign, like sign language, but you know what I mean, the sine wave. I'll carry on. Sine waves are the most important AC waveform since they are the basis for all other waves. Unfortunately, a sine wave isn't as easy to generate as something like a square wave. Are all waveforms made up of sine waves is the next question. Yep. This is an incredibly important concept that allows us to hear harmonies, discriminate voices, operate CT scanner design, electronics, etc. Next question was, is the universe a sine wave? A sine wave is the basic building block of the universe. Any phenomenon can be explained by a sine wave. The amount of harmonics introduced into the phenomena is directly proportional to the amount of unpredictability into the life cycle. Was the word of God the hue? Would that be a sine wave? Makes you think, doesn't it? Why do we use sine waves only? So why is the audio test equipment so uniformly focused on sine waves? Sine waves are the only waveform where 100% of the energy is concentrated at a single frequency. Could that be source? From Fourier analysis, we can recall that all signals can be represented as a sum of one or more sine waves. So you're starting to get a picture. The voice of God, was that a sine wave? Can you hear God's voice calling? Is it a sine wave? So everything is supposedly, as these people are saying, a sine wave, a sin wave. What about this verse? Ask for a sign from the Lord your God, whether from the depths of Sheol or the heights of heaven. I've talked about us being in a cave. The etymology shows you that. Or some people could call it an echo chamber. Sound in an echo chamber would vibrate even more. Basically, it's crazy, isn't it? So, a sign from the God. Is that a sine wave? Because these are all tied, and that's what I'm trying to get at in this video. Sine waves, frequencies, brain waves, everything around our emotions and learning and different things. Because how does emotions affect knowledge? Because we've talked about knowledge in this. Emotions has a substantial influence on the cognitive process in humans, including perception, how we see this place, our attention, learning, memory, reasoning and problem solving. Emotion has a particularly strong influence on attention, especially modulating the selectivity of attention as well as motivating action and behaviour. You change our emotions, thus we would not perceive things, our attention would be squat, learning, we can't learn as much, our memory would be falling, hence the rise in Alzheimer's, and obviously that's tied to magnetite little particles. But could it be this? Because I've talked about our memories being all around us. So for frequency, just like chucking a pebble into water creates waves, and just like when you have two, what they call, I always keep forgetting those names, oh my god, I can't remember, I forgot the name again. Oh, what they called? Shine, I've just forgot. Like the forks, tuning forks. There we go, get there in the end. If you have a tuning fork and it does a certain frequency, you bring a second one into play, it then changes to that frequency. So it's crazy. So that's why I'm putting all this together. How do emotions affect learning? Learning and memory are affected by different types of emotions. Emotional responses such as fear, depression and stress have impaired effects on cognitive functions such as learning and memory, whereas optimistic and happy emotions have positive effects on long-term memory. Keep the population sad, keep the population in fear, keep the population depressed. It impairs your cognitive functions, your memories. Shit, does sound familiar, doesn't it? Wow. And that's just what I'm trying to get in this video, to just show you, hey, the serpent worship from culture could be the sine wave, the sign of God, and thus you get the flip side of saying the serpent is evil, has no legs, crawls on the ground. God is not welcomed on the ground. So you can just see the dual nature of this and why I had to include it, because obviously I'm talking about frequencies and waves. Sine wave is so important, but it does resemble sin. Does it not? Or am I just seeing things? I mean, when I've talked about before in old videos of the fallen were chained to the ground, being ley lines, but they sinned. So is that the sin wave being tied to the ground? And obviously it was cast and supposed to be held for 1,000 years. Is a case of these sine waves, because there's a dual nature of sine waves, there's good and bad. Could it be that escaping, influencing people? I don't know, but it intrigues me doing videos like this, these big what ifs. Sometimes I don't know where I'm going in a video, and I don't know if I'm making stuff up as I go, but this is just how my brain works, so I have to get it out. It's like, CD thing. I have to show you what I'm thinking, and hopefully it computes it resonates with you. And as you know, we're talking about obviously a lot of things in here, but obviously one of them was the weather and how it can affect our moods, and obviously knowledge. And as you can see on the screen, yes, the weather can indirectly affect knowledge by influencing mood and cognitive performance. Studies suggest that mood, which can be affected by weather, impacts memory and also other cognitive functions. While weather itself might not directly alter knowledge, it can create conditions that either enhance or hinder learning and memory, like I've just been briefly talking about already. So it's like mood manipulation then would affect your memory and your knowledge of things. And when we talk about knowledge, obviously their use of the word for knowledge was gnosis. So have a look at this, guys. So sin, well, I've been talking about sin wave. In gematria, it adds to 47. 4 and 7 is, you got it, 11. This number that coincidentally means so much significance in regard to Janos and different things that I've showed you over the years appears as sine wave. Gnosis in gematria adds to 83, which is, you got it, another 11. So gnosis is as you may well know, gnosis is the feminine Greek noun which means knowledge or awareness. It is often used for personal knowledge compared with intellectual knowledge. Don't need to talk about the things, you can see it on the screen. So it's intriguing, isn't it, when we talk about knowledge and gnosis. People say, oh, Gnosticism is evil, Gnosticism is good. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's the dual nature. And when we're looking at dual, there's only one God. That comes to mind, isn't it? So let's carry on. In Hebrew, knowledge is known as da'af or da'et, whatever way you want it, or da'at, how you pronounce it. Da'af, knowledge. In Hebrew, the word for knowledge or gnosis is da'af. It is usually spelled in English as da'at, da'af or da'eth. Sounds like death, doesn't it? This is a kind of special knowledge that is unique to the consciousness. It is not related to the intellect, as you just heard. But on the Seraphot, the Hebrew Kabbalic tree, there's 10, but the 11th is always missing, and you can find it when you look at it. But Da'at is the 11th Seraphot when it is placed. Come on, guys. What is... we don't believe in coincidences. So the 11th Seraphot, Da'at, has a black dot to make it stand out because it's the interface between the 3 higher Seraphot associated with the mind and the 7 lower ones associated with the body. And then when we think of 7 and the body, could that be the door, Da'at or Delet? You can see on the screen, looks like the number 7. Again, the 7 is tied to the door and is one of Janus's numbers. But it doesn't just stop there. The phrase Janos or Janus is gnosis, connects the Roman god Janos or Janus with the concept of gnosis or knowledge. Janus, associated with beginnings, endings and transitions, can be seen as a figure embodying the knowledge of dualities and a cyclical nature of time, mirroring the Gnostic pursuit of spiritual knowledge and understanding. The phrase Janus is gnosis. Oops. Adds to, you got it, another 11. 1, 3, 1, 6 adds to 11. People will tell you I'm seeing things. People will tell you it's all bollocks. People will tell you it is coincidence. But when is coincidence enough and not here? I'm trying to say I'm bamboozling myself there. I'm getting tongue twisted. It's crazy. And just think, knowledge, gnosis. So knowledge, knowledge. No is gnosis. 11. And ledge, as you can see, denotes a fix across a door or gate. Knowledge is connected to the door, to the gate, because we are that. But look, it comes from ley, also ley lines. So not only are they ley lines, but they are doors. Just blows me away. And I know a little bit of a tongue twister in there, but I get excited. I can't hold it. I can't hide it. You can see why I get excited and research this topic quite a lot, because everything seems to connect. What say thee? So again, I have to be upfront and honest here. I don't know why I'm putting this little bit in. It's just, again, like I was saying before, when I get things in my head, I have to get them out. So, apologies. But these are things that I found fascinating. So I'm putting all in one, and hopefully you will see the connection. So we've been talking about sine waves a lot. We've been talking about sin a lot. Adam and Eve, He-Man, Human, all that good stuff. And something significant in history is this place on the screen. Now, some of you might get it, some of you won't without a little description. But this is Mount Sinai. Now, obviously straight away, the Ten Commandments were given to Moses by God here. And just look at the name, Sin and AI. Now, the reason that intrigued me is because obviously I'm talking about sin, and obviously there is a god Sin or Anna in Sumeria, and I might show a little bit on that after this. But scholars have theorized that Sinai is part derived, it's named from the word for moon, which was sin, hence the sin, the god Sin from Sumeria, or to shine. So you have sin, meaning the moon, to shine, and you also have an old name for the Janus. Janus is a janitor, so all the gods he has on his keys. So he isn't the first, but one of the first oldest I found for him was, his name was IA. And I know it's backwards, AI, but you know, people do it all the time. So there's a little connection there with Janos on this location, because it's obviously, just showed you, it's the name served as the basis of all god names for many cultures. So that's why I'm putting in AIIA, which in Greek numerals is 11 also. So, as I was saying, Nana, also known as Nanad, Nana Suen, Sin, Asin Baba, Namrashit, Namrasit, not shit, is a Mesopotamian god of the moon and wisdom. Hence why I've put it in. This location is named after him. So they got the 10 Commandments, or the 10 words, at this location that is known to be named after the god of the moon and the god of the wisdom. And also, I believe this location is also referred to the Thorn, and he's one of the oldest gods. So there's a little connection. But because we've been talking about weather, and I've just mentioned Janos and different things, Janos is the god of the 4 seasons. He's the god of the weather. And here's an old engraving that was on. I couldn't get it without the Getty images on, but as you can see, and I'll zoom in, and you can quite see there's Janos with his angel wings, with the 4 seasons, all the elements. Here's another old engraving of Janos there, and you can see he's the 4 winds, his heads, and at the bottom in Latin basically reads, the best I could do, it means cold at winter and it's heavy with snow and the air is cloudy. That's basically what it says underneath. So you can see the connection with weather and the 4 winds. But it carries on in Mesopotamia and Sumerian times. Here's 2 gods with 4 heads. Illicit diggers found these 4-headed statues which may represent a god of the 4 winds and a goddess of rainstorms. The god wears a low cap with a pair of horns meeting above each face. He carries a scimitar in his right hand and places his left foot upon the back of a crouching ram. Again, Janos is tied to a ram. The goddess, tall crown, again with a pair of horns above each face, has the shape of a temple facade on an altar. She grasps her hands in a vase from which flows streams of water. A ripple water pattern covers her garment. So you can just see how intriguing it is when we're showing you these things and the connection to Janos. People don't want you to research Janus. They don't. You will get heavily critiqued, you get heavily trolled for talking about this god that seems to connect everything. So Mount Sinai is the location of the 10 Commandments, or the 10 words. What's in gematria? Oh yes, 173, that's 2, you got it, and 11. But some say the 10 Commandments were actually 11 commandments, and some of them were conjoined into one, creating 10. But if you go off it, like I've said in all videos, if you just say, alright, go off it as 10, you then get another verse in the Bible that says, I give you a new commandment. So we've had 10, and it says in this verse, by John, remember, a derivative of Janus. Ignore that. So we'll give you a new commandment. So if we get a new one after the 10 are already been done, what's that? What's 10 add 1? Oh yeah, 11. But we'll ignore that. That you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also should love one another. And again, John 13:34. John, derivative of Janus. But let's add those numbers, because this is just a pure coincidence. You know, it's fate. 1 add 3. Oh yes, 4. 4 add 3 is 7. 7 add 4 is 11. These are just coinkydinks, people will tell you. There's no connection. They're not trying to show you patterns. They're not trying to show you anything. It's just everything is 11. Everything. Could 11 be 2 cosines? Well, a sine and cosine. Who knows? So that got me thinking Mount Sinai, and obviously Moses is tied to the serpent staff, the brass staff, etc., etc. Now, I want to read you something out, but to me, when we see things like this, people will say it's Kundalini and different things, which I'll show you in a sec. Could it not be 2 wisdoms? You know, one from above and one from below, trying to purge into the one. That's just me. That's the way I think. So the staff reminds us to the brass serpent erected by Moses in the desert when the Israelites were bitten by poisonous snakes, being the sign of sin and earthy demonic wisdom. So it's saying you there. So is anything we get from the earth, are they classing it as demonic, because that is where evil lies, where God is not welcomed? Can you see my point? And why people try to get you grounded? Is grounded good, or is grounding you connecting you more to the demonic wisdom? Again, I don't know. It's above my pay grade, but read it. When the Israelites were bitten by poisonous snakes, being a sign of sin, the sin wave, and earthly demonic wisdom. The brass serpent that was lifted up was a type of the cross. Jesus Christ became sin for us and triumphed over the poisonous and lethal power of sin. Is sin knowledge? Is sin gnosis? I don't know. I'm just showing you what's in my crazy head. Hence the snakes on the staff recall the story and the words of Lord in John 3:14, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Now look at the second part. Another way to consider the snakes is to see them not as symbols of false wisdom, but of true and holy wisdom, as in the Lord saying, Matthew 10:16, behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves, so be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. So knowledge, as I've gone through, is all connected to wisdom. Is it good wisdom? Is it bad, evil wisdom? Is it demonic wisdom? But is there angelic wisdom? Is that the two? I don't know. So people, like I was saying, the intertwined twin Kundalini serpents, the two serpents intertwine as a symbol of the relationship between the two opposites, the sun and the moon, on the cosmic level, and with the sacred physiology of the subtle body, the solar nadi and the lunar nadi, as they describe in the text of Tantric Hinduism. Now, yeah, you can get Janus in regards to sun and moon. As you can see, Janus and Jana, a pair of ancient Latin divinities who were worshipped as the sun and moon, whereas they were regarded as the highest of gods and received their sacrifices before all others. So again, I can show you connections. When people say it's a Kundalini, I can say it's Janus and Jana, the sun and the moon. It's intriguing and it's mind-blowing that I'm trying to fit everything in. Not only hopefully mind blow you guys, but it's doing it to me. It's looking at things a little bit different and just showing you, hey, what they've said all along is this, but could it be this? What if it's that? What if it's this and that and that and that? What if it's none of the above? But it's good searching, it's good hunting for it, isn't it? So guys, I'm going to finish, because I could just keep going and going and going. I've still got to do my thoughts on the etymology of weather, because I've been talking about mainly the weather, frequencies, the who, sin, sign, everything like that. So why not do the weather? So as you can see, I'm on an etymology site just so I can show you guys. Weather, noun, general condition of the atmosphere with respect to temperature, precipitation, etc. Middle English, Veda, from Old English Veda, meaning air, sky, breeze, storm, tempest. And I'm going to go into tempest now to coincide with this. Tempest, intense windstorm, violent strong wind accompanied by rain, snow, hail, etc. Late 13th century. From Old French tempesta, meaning storm, commotion, battle, epidemic, plague, 11th century. From Vulgar Latin tempesta, from Latin tempestas, meaning a storm, a commotion, weather, a season, occasion, time. Time. Who was the god of time and the weather? Not say anything. Which is a derivative of tempus, meaning time, season. See temporal. So carry on. Latin sense evolution is from period of time to period of weather to bad weather to storm. Words for weather originally were words for time in languages from Russia to Brittany. So it's funny that we used to talk about the weather in the sense of time. It's like when you spend any amount of that word time, which I always say is emit backwards, like with a frequency. So we're going for an emotions today, guys, and we want to be in a good, bad, whatever. Let's move. Let's be nomadics. We spend each period of time in each location. So that's hence why we're going to spend a period of time in that location, period of weather. It's funny that they used to use those words. The figurative sense of violent commotion, flurry, excitement in English is recorded from early 14th century. The figurative tempest in a teapot, great disturbance over a small matter, is attested by 1818, and the image is older in forms. Storm in a teapot, they said storm in a cream bowl. So you can just see how it's changed. So let's go back to the weather. This is said in Watkins to be from the pi. Remember the Proto-Indo-European? Funny that one we've been talking about, the pi root. Weather source, also Lithuanian vetra, storm, Old Church Slavonic vedro, good weather. So suffixed form of root, we to blow. But Balkin finds it problematic from a formal point of view and finds the Slavic word the only likely cognate. Alteration begins late 15th century. Through such pronunciation may be older, compare farther. In nautical use from the 14th century as an adjective towards the wind, windward, opposite to lee as a noun, direction from which the wind is blowing. Greek had words for good weather, aetheria, and words for a storm and winter, but no generic word for weather until kairos, literally time. Again, time, who's the god of time, who's the god of weather. I'll put it on the screen, but we already know. Begin to use such as Byzantine times. Latin tempestus, weather, also originally meant time, and words for time also came to mean weather in Irish. It's funny that, isn't it? And when they do weather forecasts for foreheads. And it's just basically a form of divination, which with regard to weather, sin, and all that I've been talking about. It's a crazy world. So there was the etymology to finish off with weather and how it's connected to time. Some people say time does not exist. What is it? Is it a frequency? Who knows what it is? But these vessels age. And could it just be another form of emotion, feeling, a god? Who knows? There's just so much that we can talk about, which we will get into now in my thoughts.
Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black
Right, guys, as always, I want to say a big thank you for all the love and support, and it really means a lot. Sorry about the lateness of the video coming out. It's been a while, it feels, but I've had a birthday in between. It was yesterday. And, you know, I've just been chilling, put my feet up as much as I can, you know, and enjoy being happy. That is to project. Am I necessarily that? I don't know. But I do love you guys. So for everyone that's liked, shared and subscribed, it means a lot. For anyone who's helped the channel out by buying me a coffee, which is buying me a bar, you can do so by hitting the barcode. It means a lot. It keeps me and the channel going. It really does. So, you know, thank you. You know, it means a lot. I'm not getting emotional. So this video was originally called the Tempest Equation because I made a video maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't know when it was. It was that long ago. I had more dark and then it had silver or grey. That's how long it was. And you know, when you're just going through your stuff on your content on your computer, cleaning up and making space for future content, I saw the video and I was watching it back. I think it's still on the Odyssey channel under the Black Sheep Researcher, which has locked me out, but it's still got content on there, so you can still watch it and you can see I've been doing this content for a long time. It feels it too. So that's what I wanted to revisit and put into a big huge video, just showing you my crazy thing. It's not to be taken as fact. It's just an opinion, a belief, a theory on the question: is there a device out there? Is the so-called powers that be manipulating and controlling said device so that we experience and manipulate our moods, our emotions, to control how we think? And when you just put a simple question like that at the beginning of you thinking, you're like, yeah, there's a possibility. But the more you look into it, it's 100%. It's been manipulated. Now, the idea that I have in my head, I don't know if it's good, I don't know if it's bad, but think about it. If we was placed here to experience, so there's many theories on what we hear: assimilation, we've been naughty, we've sinned, we've been put in purgatory, we've been put in jail, prison. Other people believe we're here to experience life, the ups and the downs, the troughs and the peaks. And there was a system put in place, weather system, so that these nomadic tribes that we all started off were migrating to different locations in the continent, or moving vast distances to experience time, weather in each location. You then tie into this whatever theory you have on ley lines, energy lines. Some people believe it's all hokum pokum. Some people believe it is the fallen being chained. But the fallen, the demonic forces, evil has always been tagged as being a serpent. And the serpent lines, the dragon lines, the devil lines, the devil traps, the devil graveyards. Evil is at our door. We are doors. They are doors on the floor. Ley lines, ledge, doors becomes the devil. And it's like that scene from Constantine when you have the angel trying to influence, you have demonic forces trying to influence you into a specific emotion or thought. Now, this is not me saying for anyone that's done evil in their lives, get out of jail free type of card. No, I'm just theorizing and thinking, if, you know, these vessels, we have different emotions, and I'm sure of it that each vessel, each soul, whatever spirit, whatever you want to call ourselves, have an emotion, stronger in emotion. Like, you know, when you're making a character or a game character, and You have traits, you have skills. Each, you know, we're here to experience and maybe amplify our traits or increase others that we're lacking. So if we're in a realm where energy is oozing through the ground, where one person says it's spiritual and it's healing, it's energy lines, another person's opinion or belief is that they are chained fallen angels. And the realm, the ground, the earth is a place where God is not welcomed. Does that mean he's not there? Just means he's not welcomed. So it's how you look at words. And I've always been under the impression that, because, come on now sit here or whatever you're doing now watching this video and really think and really be honest with yourselves. You have been in a brilliant mood. You're in a good mood. Life is good. When we do have them. And out of the blue, like, something just comes over you. And you feel the rage. You feel angry. You want to shout. You want to bang. You want to smash. How does something happen like that? I've had it. I'll hold my hand up. I've been in a good mood. And nothing's happened. I'm not with no one. And all of a sudden, I feel really angry. Where if I'm driving through a location, if I'm walking, or even at home or past homes, I've had it. Now, obviously, some of us do not act on these emotions. Our will helps us to defend. But some people don't. You can call them weak-minded. But I'm not one to call people, because we all experience and our thresholds are so differently. And what if we was created to experience this realm, experience the time, the weather and all that goes with it, and we were due to just move locations to maybe stay ahead of more troughs, or today the tribal chief or the chief at the time says, you know what, let's move to there's food, there's water. And when we're there, we always feel good. We feel safe. Because people, you know, electromagnetic forces, the symptoms of that and things that make you feel like there's a presence. We're told energy does not die. It just moves and transfers to whatever. So if someone evil, think about it as well, is how many people have been buried in time? Is that why they're cremated? To get the forces, the frequencies out and out straight away. But we then started burying the dead. Energy's got to go somewhere. If there's energy lines, would the force of that person then transfer to the energy line? I don't know. I'm what ifing. I might sound batshit crazy. But if the etymology of a ley line means lie line, what are they lying about? There's some people out there who do make brilliant content on ley lines, energy lines. But what if we got it wrong? They could be right. They could be wrong. It could be something I've not even said, or them. There's so much. And that is when opinion and beliefs and emotions and everything come entwined. A melting pot, a tempest. We're here to experience, if that is the case, and they made us travel. And then once we stay in a location and build walls, we're basically putting walls up and being chained in with a specific emotion. It's like when people sometimes go batshit crazy because they've been in like quarantine, or they've been in the hole, or whatever they call it, in jail, or in a place where they don't have mix with anyone, and the mind goes, the mental health goes. It's just a theory. They then tie that in with the ground, and that amplifying that's why we moved. So we experience all these weathers. I mean, I can't what the proper term is, but you know that thing against seasonal something disorder, known as SAD. So when it's dark, our emotions change, our mental health change, we feel, you know, all the negative emotions. And it's just got me thinking, if they are manipulating frequencies, now is it they got the hand on this device, this ancient tech that the creator created to force us to move, but hey, if you go in that location long enough, this is what's going to happen. So people moved, and people started to stay in locations, were forced to stay in locations because we butt heads. If we meet, we fight, we go to war. In the name of gods, in the name of beliefs. Remember, belief, truth. Truth does not exist as we know it. Look it up. People still troll me today. Truth means confidence, Fides, the Roman goddess Fides, that what you believe in is a belief. It's why we have war. You believe you're right. You believe your religion is the best. People have fought and killed each other over this. Emotion. Just one of the etymologies, because there's many. Again, people have an opinion on everything and say, no, they're wrong. It's me. It's how when you watch a content creator and he's so confident that what he's telling you is right. I'll let you into a secret, guys. It's bollocks. It's bollocks. What I'm saying is bollocks. It's just an opinion. It's just a belief on what I'm seeing. We see this realm differently. We're here to experience it differently. These vessels are made differently. Some people have more in them, more crystal, more whatever makes people different. And you experience it differently. Hence why you have people like thrill seekers. When it's the waves are crashing, they woo! And they're surfing, they're enjoying it. Someone else will be hiding and feeling sad and crying because they don't want to be in this location. We're here to experience it differently. And when people stand with confidence, people say, oh wow, it must be true. True does not, it's confidence. Go and check it. You know, I don't say I'm fact. I don't. I might be seeing this all wrong, but when you start putting the etymology and looking in confidence, they are one and the same. It's a belief. Beliefs then influence opinions. You watching a channel, that frequency of the voice of what you're watching in the screen mirror, the Ouija board, changes you. Because people say, oh, I've watched your video and I'm in sync. You know, when you're not well, you're under the weather. Same with happiness. When you walk into a room and someone's happy, wow, it makes you feel good, doesn't it? Energy does not die. Where does it go? When someone is sad, angry, you can feel it. That's what people think about energy. They've walked into a place, they can feel death, they can feel negativity. Because the energy is trying to go somewhere. You know, and the people buried in the ground, you have spirits. None of us know. And it's nice if people just say, I don't know, it's just an opinion and a belief. Go and experience it. Morph this reality into what you want to see it and believe it. And could the powers that be got hold of this device? And we are experiencing more downs. Because if I don't even know, waves, like the sine wave, go like that, and they are steady. Ups and downs and ups and downs. It just feels like we're going down. But sometimes people feel rock bottom. And it hurts me. I do. I feel it. It gets me emotional. And this is not me, again, saying, you know, whatever evil people's done in their lives, get out of jail free card. It's not it, but think about it. Like I was saying before, I've been happy, no one's near me, and then I feel sad, I feel crying, I feel rage, I feel angry, and then it goes, and then I feel happy again, or I'm content. What is going on? You know, so if everything is a wave, a frequency, and they have 5G towers, they have radio waves, everything, Wi-Fi, you name it, we're bombarded We're living in an echo chamber, just full of waves, and we're going to experience the ups and the downs. And you know, are we trying? You know, have we forgot how to ride the waves and keep it steady? Because it's just sad when you see people hurting. But we're here as a reality when people are being pushed into a feeling. And what if they are manipulating? What if? That's what I mean. It's all these what ifs. And you have people that say Gnosticism is evil, it's demonic. You'll have people that saying it's not. That's what the proper knowledge is. And so on. People have different opinions, and we get labelled. Oh, look at him, he's into Gnosticism. Oh, look at him, he's into the Bible. And they label people like that Bible bashers or cult members. Why do we have to label people in a community we're ostracized already negatively? If he wants to make content about that, or she, let them enjoy themselves. How many times, and again, be honest with yourself, do you feel brilliantly? And this is also out to content creators or people posting online. I'm not on social media really, apart from here. And someone said something beautiful, and you know, you're happy and you feel wanted, and then some little scrote comes along with something you know it's so negative, and you focus on the negative than the positive, and it ruins your day. Why do people feel the need to be? And again, people cannot use the excuse, oh well, the bots. Yes, there is bots out there, but people, and it begins with a C and it ends in unts. People are that. People have gone away from treating people with respect. People treating people how you want to be treated, because they're the other side of the world. So I can treat them like shit online and tell them how wrong they are. Well, I read this book and this book was before your information, so it's got to be right. But what about the other book that someone else is commenting on that it was before your book? It says something completely different. Does that mean it's right? It's all based on opinions and perspective on how they see everything. You'll have one scientist say it's this. You'll have a philosopher or a theorist saying that. Someone who is neither saying this. Who is right? The people with the loudest voice? You know, am I just looking at everything completely different? But we've gone away from treating people how we want to be treated. I'm not going down the road of calling people out. I've got people trolling me. I've got other content creators stealing my work, using it as their own. It hurts. And also the ego. And you want to be given a shout out. You know, I got this from that. And probably I've done that in the past on one thing or two things. It ain't perfect, but I always try and give people a shout out who inspired me or where I've got the information from, and then I've morphed it into mine, and they've done it with mine. People have given me the shout out. It's like when you say something, people say, oh well, I'm not watching you now because you've said that. But you've watched me for like 8 years and now you're changing your mind. I've not changed. So there's always that one thing that makes us emotional. Yeah, etches our belief system. And if this is being manipulated, could that be a reason for why we're in such a mess? We're all staying in one location, so whatever energy is focused on that location could be good, could be negative, could be different, could be neither, could be a lot of or a steady up and down. But then you have the El-Shites, as I call them, the powers that be, and they have changed the input that location. And some people, the will, or you know, your mind, are stronger to it. Some people, it influences them quicker. They absorb it quicker. And again, is this not a get out of court jail card for anyone who's done this? But just think, I felt all the emotions in 10 minutes. I remember just driving once, and my ears popped like the pressure was just got insane, and feeling the different emotions just driving. Like, where is this come from? You know, energy has to go somewhere. And then that's why I was tying in the weather with the ley lines and just showing you different etymologies of that, what they line about. This world is fucking crazy. And people are so confident and telling you, hey, it's this. I know squat. Hold my hand up. I know nothing. Some people's opinions and what they think, I resonate with. And I'm trying to just put together. I've had people comment and troll me, oh, well, you're not getting us out of this. It's not my job to get you out of here. It's your job. Stop letting people run your life. Get your ass, make your own content, or look for ways out. What happens if there's no way out? What happens if, you know, this world is based on magic and spells? Because sound is a frequency. We have our vocal cords. Remember that video I made years ago? Vocal, voice of God. And that's why magic works. Because everything in this realm is a frequency, is a sound. From the weather to your emotions. And again, I was just thinking, what if we did move and we negated a lot of these problems? Again, some people will say knowledge is good. Some people say knowledge is bad. Knowledge is a serpent. Serpent is good. Oh, it's been mislabeled like the Nazis did to, you know, the symbol. That's a symbol for good and whatnot, and how that's why people will complain about anything. Oh, look at your t-shirt, Paul. That's actually a negative. But I'm not portraying it as negative. I want to change it. Oh, you're wearing orange. That means you're a Freemason. Oh, you scratched your nose. People will project their shit, their negative energies on you. They want to portray you as that. I'm a good person. I know I'm a good person. Don't need the negative fuckers to tell me how to run and change my mind in life. So, because I do this just to get my mind, get things out. Because, you know, I like to move on. I like to progress. And it's ruined. The community is ruined. There's too many people in it for the two wrong reasons. I mean, supposedly, whatever reason you're in it is your reason. Oh, what's saying me to say that is wrong? And I agree. But don't portray yours. Why can't people be honest? I'm in it for the money. I'm in it for the fame. I'm in it for the glory. I just love, and I get excited. I do. I see some things, I research it, and I see the patterns. You research something, you see the patterns, and your pattern is different to mine. So it's like a subway map, you know, the lines, and your lines will connect somewhere with mine, and that's when we resonate. But then you go on your path again, and off you go. And some people will cross frequencies a lot. Some people won't. And it's just about having open-mindedness to say it's okay. It's okay to be different. I research Janice a lot because I see the pattern and I see how involved he is. But I've never said it's fact. I've put the information in. I remember I used to make videos like this and I'll put, you know, the snippet in. And people saying, can you not just make a short video so without all them snippets in, just showing you? And then people were trolling that saying, well, where's your evidence? I was like, you've just asked me to make a video without all the snippets in. You know, you can't win. It's the troughs and the peaks. like that, constantly on the waves. Some of us can surf the waves, sail the waves, experience this realm and handle the emotion changes. Then you have extra frequencies and manipulation from outside forces. What if the ground is evil? The fallen were evil. What happens if they're not? Back in the day, some people wrote this. So if you are a baddie, the winner always supposedly writes history. So if you win something, does that mean you are a better person? Or do you just have a bigger army? Did you get lucky? And the loser, sometimes the good wins, but sometimes evil wins. And what happens if the evil people wrote stuff and said, hey, if someone comes along, and says this is good, don't kill them, they're evil. And then that gets into generations, that gets into myth, gets into folklore, gets taught to children, and the children grow up and they teach their children that is taboo. And then comes along a generation, oh peace man, you know, it's not that, it's this, and they go the other way. So you know, there's never a pace, but either there or there, and it's the ups and the downs. Like this video, some people feel under the weather. Hopefully my cheery face makes you feel better. Do you feel sick when you hear a frequency? Sound can do a lot of good, it can heal, but it also can kill cells, it can kill things, it can deafen you. And that manipulation is what intrigues me. Is it being manipulated? And again, are we here to experience life? Is this, you know, are we juveniles? Are we here and then we have to head to move on? You know, there's so many beliefs and opinions. You know, like, again, opinion, break it in half. OPI, I can't remember if I said it because I've had to re-edit this video and redo it again. I was making this video and I thought it was like a hunting spider. You guys in Australia get a spider that big, it was just crawling up the wall, and I went, whoa. You know, when you see something moving, you're like, what the fuck is that? So I had to do some ninja and get rid of it. So I can't remember if I've put it in already. See, my mind's all over the place. So OP means let us pray, and obviously ion, I-O-N, can be aeon, A-I-O-N, which has got a time, which obviously is weather. I think I've done it in this already, but I'm not sure. My mind's all over the place, guys. I get excited and I forget. I go through doors. But what if everything is wrong? What if everything is right? Again, one man's philosopher is another man's tyrant. You know, most of the ancient history was done orally and passed on from, but that's like Chinese whispers. You go along the chain and it gets it wrong. For instance, we're looking at the fallen angels. It says they were chained to the ground for 1,000 years. What if that chain's broke? So that evil has to go somewhere, and it says demonic forces light the ground. They use the ground to go through, but you're walking on it. Some people say, hey, go on the walk barefooted and get grounded. But what if that's bad? What if you are being influenced then? But what if that is the actual goodie? And society is telling you porkies. We're in a no-win situation, and that's what our intuition, ION, ion, time, weather, is made. We'll be made to experience things, and our gut is supposedly to help us to differentiate. What is it that makes you act on a feeling? You feel rage, I want to act on that, I want to hit someone. I feel happy, I'll tell, you know, what makes us go over Is it someone? Is it a force manipulating, pulling the strings, pulling the human? And that's why I changed it to Hugh's pulling the strings. I have to thank, if he's watching this far, Sambino. I was just talking, he said, what are you going to call it? And I was just saying, I'm going to call it Tempest Equation. He said you should call it Who's Pulling the Strings. Obviously, human. Hue is also a colour if you put an E on it. It's crazy, isn't it? So, Hue, the first utterance, the first word, the first spell, the first force. You know, it's like, I've mentioned it in many other videos. Remember the TV series called Preacher? And he had Genesis inside him, and he could basically talk and manipulate people with his voice, the vocal cords, the voice of God, and he would do anything. And that these things, you know, inspire me. It's like, again, to a degree, it's what happens in reality. People are into politics, they hear a politician speak, and it resonates with them, and it makes them do that. Again, content creators, they say it with such authority what they're saying, and people think and use that as a learning base. Hey, he's got to be right. He's got X amount of subs. He has to be right. Look, he's dead confident. Well, it's all opinion. It's all belief. And belief and emotions are all tied. It showed you in this video that frequencies can affect your emotions, and then your emotions then trigger and affect knowledge and everything in you. You know, it's a crazy world, and I keep saying it is a crazy world. And were we supposed to experience the ups and the downs, but now it just feels the downs. It's like they keep removing the floor, and we're experiencing that. But that isn't that. Should we then be? It's a fine line. Should we then be helping each other? You know, I always say, stay safe. Always wear a smile. Do a good deed. And this is no slant on that person, but I had comments, not just one comment, but a few saying, don't say that because you're influencing people. And they're right. But what if I've been put here to do that so you help someone? What happens if you not helping someone is the difference between them, and that's happened to me, and then, you know, someone losing their life? What happens if they needed you to say something good? See, we're always pointing out the negative, and just you walking past someone who has no interaction with anyone, and you smiling and saying hello. You know, you can't even say hello these days online because people, hell. You know, good morning. But what if we change it? They've changed it to what mean one thing. Why can't we change it back? Greetings. You know, people will walk around sounding like fucking philosophers and fucking Indian chiefs. There's just so much that we can't do. We can't wear colours. You can't wear different types of t-shirt. You know, because you're this, you're that. Well, what are you going to do? Start filming content nude and then get done for being nude and people complaining that you're nude? You can't win, especially when you're doing content create, because there's always some person who thinks they're better than you, thinks they're smarter than you, and it's just how you see things in this reality. And is there a way that is being manipulated to make these forces feel longer, more negative? And it's a scary thing if what I'm saying is right, but it's proven right by my experiences. But this is just for me. You know, how many times, again, have you been sad, walked into a room and one of your friends is coming, and they're such a bubbly person, they have an effect on you, just smiling, you know, having a laugh, telling a joke, and it's changed you for the good. You know, each of us, you know, it's when I'm dead happy and someone numbnut will put me down in a comment. They want to bring me down to their level. but I want to experience a bit longer in the level or up bit before I come back down. You know, there's too many times bottom feeders, they don't want you out. They don't want you. They want you at their level, feeling at the ground, feeling these forces. And that's just why I made this video, because I just wanted to, hey guys, what if everything has been manipulated? It's proven. So if the weather's manipulating, you've got people talking about, you know, it's only a few years ago, people saying, they were arguing in the community over chemtrails and contrails, and there's no such thing. And people said, well, there's no such thing, they can't manipulate the weather. Then you get the Middle East countries coming out saying, we have manipulated the weather to make it rain. Then you get scientists saying, well, they're talking porkies, they're not actually doing it. But they're saying, yes, we are, cloud seeding and different things. What about all those people that were trolling you for doing your content or posting your post saying there is weather manipulation? Why is there weather manipulation? Because the weather affects the time, which then emits, and you feel it. Remember, when you're in a sad or negative time, it feels longer. And they want you to experience the negative more. And that's just my theory. Is it a what if? Is it them manipulating the weather? Tying that in with the stuff on the ground? All these forces, all these charges, energy. What are we to do? You know, are we always supposed to be feeling under the weather? You know, again, when people say they sink, I resonate with you, Paul. I'm sinking with you. You know, and that's why I research my topics and people research theirs, mix them into the melting pot. You know, and that's just who I am, guys. I want to experience more happy moments because life is short. I want to be up there more, experiencing the good times. But it's not me slanting anyone who wants to feel down. That's you. I don't want to be there, but don't bring me down to your level, and I won't bring you to mine. Let people make their own mind up where the frequency goes. And there's so much manipulation. Some people will say, no, there's no such thing. You know, you have religions, you have your beliefs. And that's why I look at Janus, because he's a god of frequency keys. He holds the keys. You know, cymatics. See why I showed in an old video. It could be meant AI, IA. That's Janus's first name. That's why I put in about Sign and Mount Sinai, and it's just, again, just opinions, not to be taken facts. I just want to make cool shit that some of you feel, hey, that makes sense. You don't have to believe it. You know, we're here to make our own beliefs and then make that into an opinion and form an opinion on what we feel and see and share it. So I'm sharing mine, but I'm not going to be taken down anymore. Society, Lites, the L-shites are doing that on themselves. We should be better. We should be fighting the establishment, not each other. You should be smart enough to know we all think and see this world differently. Why and who am I to say, hey, you've got to believe in it's this and this and this. If you do not, you're a shill, you're a gatekeeper. That's the same old practice. Gaslighting, narcissists, and you know, you can't work with them because they're that, and if you work with them, you're best buds. That's why I've stayed off doing a lot of content with other collabs, but I'm missing out because of you fuckers. And I don't mean you, the good fuckers. I mean the negative Nancys, the people who want to bring me down. People say, well, I don't like them. Well, that's you. It's like going into a schoolyard. Oh, you're talking to Jane. If you talk to Jane or John, I'm not friends with you no more. And then I'll bully and call you because you with that click. And that's what's happened to all my life. I will not be told who and what I can. I don't want to get back to that. I want to start working with anyone and everyone. No channel subscribers to hundreds of thousands, and I'm going to just do what I want, what makes me happy. In that motion, getting my message out. Hey guys, what if we've got everything so wrong? Why do I get trolled? Why do channels not want you to research Yanis? I don't just make content on that. You can see from my videos, I've done how many videos now just on this channel? It's mad, isn't it? 180 or 190 videos I think I've done. That's wow. And that's just in a couple of years since I've been on here. Yeah, 196 videos. Check my old content out, guys. Go start at the bottom and work and see how I've progressed, see how I've changed. And I just want to stay changed, spiritually changed, but I want to stay who I am, true to myself. You know, and that's hopefully why people still coming back. You know. Oh, I've mind controlled you. And you know what, I want to start. I will be soon, because I want to try and let you into a little secret. I want to try and I've got a box room and it's just full of crap, and once I've cleared that, I want to move into the, hopefully in the next year, because I don't rush, and I can start doing content over different periods of time, do late ones, do more things, because I have to look forward. I want to look up. I want to share this different opinion, because I believe I have a lot to offer. We have a lot to offer. So guys, do you think I'm onto something? I bet you. I don't think I'm the only one who's thought this about the manipulating and having. I mean, God bloody hell! When I did the Great Vowel Shift, they said they had A-I-E-I-O-U. He said was a device, and they changed the language. It's crazy. People talk about the serpent as being evil. What if it's good? I don't know. What if it's evil? But think about it this way, and again in all videos, I showed you the church and the twin serpents. The Pope's name is Father, or Pape, or Papa, however you want to look at it. But anagrammed, it is Apep, the great serpent. You know, so these things are everywhere for us to look, and sometimes we look too much, and sometimes yes, we can see things. Our brain works in weird ways sometimes. I'm learning constantly, you know, and that's what I want in this video. I want to, hey, come on, is this being manipulated? Are we like this? Let's work together. I'm tired. I am, and I'm gonna come back fighting, because I've never I never stand by when there's people bullying. Even if it hurts me, I'll stand in. You should never bully anyone. You should never force your opinion, your will on someone else. Let people experience life how they want to. I'm tired of it. You know, oh, well, they're this. Well, that means they're evil. You know, we know what evil is. Killing people. You know. And are we here again? If you're in different faiths, it says you should forgive. You know, it's hard. You know, I don't forgive certain people in my life that, you know, done things to me, done things to me, my mother, and different things like that. And it's hard to turn the other cheek and ignore that. Is that a way that people do shit and say, hey, you're supposed to forgive? It's all about manipulations, isn't it? And I just want you guys to enjoy the content even, and say, wow, I never thought of it like that. Yeah, Paula did, but why don't you dig a bit deeper? You know, but I've digged an hour and a half or more. So I don't want to keep going and take away from your guys from other content. I just hope you enjoy it, guys. So I'm going to go now, and hopefully the video speaks for itself when I'm talking about these things. my thoughts are just me ranting and connecting with you guys, because I do miss you guys. I want to start doing more lives soon and different things, and do different things. I'm just so swamped and busy, and good friends, and not not feeling too good, and I don't want to force things. I just want people to enjoy my content, enjoy life, show us a different opinion, and I will try and do one good deed a day, because maybe I'm put here to make and help people do one good deed a day. Once if I don't, again, you're meant to do this or you're not. It depends on if you believe in faith or synchronicities. And I'm here to show you that, hey, look at this information about Janos. If not me, other people have said it's this. Well, could it be that? And this is why we're talking about emotions, or weather. Is us feeling these emotions and experiencing these emotions feeding the gods, like them old films used to say, or are we just here to experience it? And for rhyme or reason, we've decided to wall ourselves in and stay in a location, experience these frequencies. Because if you are in a location, for instance, you're in a room and a certain frequency is constantly in, you get tinnitus, people hear hum, it drives you mad, and eventually you break, and things happen, nasty things happen. It's just a crazy world, and I'm sad when I see other people hurting. I really do. So guys, try and stay safe, try and enjoy the ups more than the down. That's why when I'm up, I really enjoy it. And I want to experience that, and I'm enjoying the moment, because I know some little pesky little fucker will want to bring me down, society will want to bring me down, something will happen in my life that will bring me down. So enjoy that moment, guys, when you are in that zone. There's not enough of them, but bloody enjoy it. Right guys, if you want to help the channel, if I remember, put the barcode or the links in the description. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully I've helped you to get to sleep this evening, courtesy of the Black Sheep Researcher. Bye guys, much love.